Can you guess which is the happiest country in 2025? Is it the USA, Switzerland, or Finland? The answer is Finland. They ranked first in the world for the 8th year in a row. In conjunction with the International Day of Happiness, Gallup, the United Nations, and Oxford University released the World Happiness Report 2025. Where does Malaysia rank, you may ask? Malaysia ranks 64th globally and 5th in ASEAN. That's right, we rank below Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, and Philippines on the Happiness Index, which you may think as quite unusual because, hey, we're Malaysia, aren't we happy people? So, here are 3 things you need to know about the rankings. First, happiness is more than just about money. According to the Gallup CEO Joe Clifton, happiness is about trust, connection, and knowing that people have your back. The World Happiness Report ranks countries based on 6 key factors, which include perception towards GDP per capita, societal support, generosity, healthy life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, and perception towards corruption. According to the report, Malaysia performs well, particularly in social support and generosity. We are 19th globally in donations and 28th in volunteering. This indicates a strong sense of benevolence amongst Malaysians and community engagement amongst the people, which we tend to pride ourselves for. Now here's a fun fact. Malaysians share 11 meals per week with other people, which highlight that we are very much a culture that's about sharing and building strong social connections. However, perceptions of corruption and limitations in personal freedoms appear to be a significant factor that contributes to Malaysians feeling less happy and ranking lower. Media reports on corruption in institutions and public sector contribute to less favorable perceptions of corruption, which can erode public trust and negatively impact overall happiness. So, let's move on to number 2. Do bread and butter issues affect a nation's happiness? Well, the answer is of course. In Malaysia's case, the country has recorded strong GDP growth, achieved the highest amount of FDI, managed inflation, and even seen an increase in household income according to the Department of Statistics. So, logically speaking, people should be happy, right? Well, not quite. Economic growth doesn't always tell the entire story. There's rising cost of living, like housing, food, and transportation. These things still hit very hard. For many Malaysians, wages haven't kept up with inflation, leaving them stretched thin despite the shiny economic statistics. Now, when people feel squeezed by daily expenses, it's tough to stay cheerful, even with strong family ties or a booming GDP. That's why it is crucial for the government to enact laws and policies to ensure fair wealth distribution. Say it again, fair wealth distribution is extremely important here. Initiatives such as direct cash handouts, i.e. Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah, Sumbangan Asas Rahmah, and increases in minimum wage, as well as free school meals for students, which ensure good nutrition, both have direct and indirect impacts on societal well-being and happiness. Continuous efforts to ease the burden of the people are therefore very necessary to enhance happiness. And thirdly, why do people sometimes feel unhappy despite improving living conditions? Now, the Easterlin paradox highlights a curious phenomenon. While higher income is associated with greater happiness at a certain point in time, both across and within countries, happiness levels do not necessarily rise as income grows. In other words, economic growth doesn't always translate into sustained increase in happiness. Now, one explanation lies in societal comparison. According to Leon Festinger's social comparison theory, individuals evaluate their well-being not in absolute terms but relative to others. This means that even if someone's standard of living improves, they may still feel dissatisfied when comparing themselves to people or nations perceived as doing better. This is often described by the saying, "the grass is greener on the other side." But is it really? It's the belief that others' lives are better than ours, which can fuel discontent, even when our own circumstances have improved. Now, this could create the perception that we are falling behind when in fact the situation is improving. But this is not to say that we shouldn't have vision or, aim for higher ideals. That's only something that's really fair to be done. This mindset, nevertheless, could explain partially why our happiness ranking declined even as the country has seen improved economic growth, stronger foreign investments, and better infrastructure overall. On the flip side, you may have actually also seen headlines where other countries' analysts are saying that they are envious of Malaysia because of the economic progress that we've had. Rather than saying the grass is greener on the other side, we should reframe this and say the grass is greener where we water it. True happiness isn't always determined by what we have, it is shaped by how we see and appreciate it. Instead of constantly comparing ourselves to others who may or may not be in the same context of privileges, it's more meaningful to reflect on what truly matters in our lives. This self-awareness can guide us towards healthier life choices and greater satisfaction. We can still learn from others and be inspired by progress while focusing on nurturing our own pathway forward. In conclusion, how do we find joy in this journey of nationhood and our lives? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It's both about accepting the realities of an improved economy, but also remaining optimistic while pragmatic about the challenges that we have to face and work hard for. The World Happiness Report shows that there's a balancing act, with plenty of room for growth, but let's not overlook what's already working. Malaysia is performing well, we have strong societal bonds, we are growing in generosity, and we have an economy on the rise. We've got the ingredients for happiness right here. So it's not about chasing the top spot overnight, that's not going to happen, but it is about building on what makes us unique. With trust, community, and a little more progress, Malaysia can climb higher, not just in the rankings, but in the hearts of our people. So, what do you say? Are you ready to be happier? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you, and we'll see you again in the next episode. Take care.